What's going on, everybody? It is Chris from Profoto, and today we have a new product launch, which is this little bad boy right here, the A10. So if you have ever messed with like an A1 or an A1X, it's going to feel incredibly familiar. It's got the much stronger spring-loaded head that you are accustomed to inside of the A1X, and the setup for the most part is pretty familiar. The things that are new for it are going to be what we call AirX. So inside of the new A10, we have our Bluetooth technology AirX built into it. So this is going to allow you to be able to easily update the firmware. You can actually control the innards of the flash from the Profoto app. And on top of that, you can use the strobing ability of the flash head itself to actually take photos. So if you wanted to take a quick iPhone photo, but you maybe wanted to supplement a little bit of light in there, you could pull this little jammer out, go boop, and fire off a nice little flash. So it's a cool little feature that is kind of fun, I think. So it's a pretty straightforward product. We'll walk through kind of the innards of everything, and so I'm checking comments. We also have a new, we're trying a new little thing today, so we'll see how all that stuff goes. So bear with us with some of the stuff that we're goofing around with, just to try to make the experience a little bit better. So for the most part, when you're looking at it, once again, it's going to feel incredibly familiar. So the front of the flash head itself has the mount for things like our Clic gels, which those are my OCF. I think I actually, we moved a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. I think I actually left my Clic gels in the car. It's all good. So you have your front ring right here for your Clic gels. So you can click on our grid kits, our different color gel kits. So they come in like a couple of different flavors. So you can buy colors individually. You can get you can actually get kits. So we have a creative kit, which is kind of cool. So it comes with like peacock blue and like rose pink and yellow. So you can just get them in a bundle. And then we have a gel and grid kit that comes with I think it's a half CTO, full CTO, and a 20-degree grid, which is cool. So you kind of get best of both worlds in there. It's going to be obviously for some more color corrective stuff if you want to try to tone down something or match something with CTO. And then you have the grid so you can focus the light a little bit more if you want to. So still the same Clic compatibility right here on the front of the flash. You still have your LED modeling lamp, so if you want to actually get a preview of what the light pattern is going to look like on your subject before you even fire off a flash, you have the ability just to fire up, let me turn it on, you have the ability just to fire up the LED modeling lamps, and that will give you that preview. When you are zooming the head with the front ring right here, you will also notice that the modeling lamp zooms as well, so you can see what the light characteristic is going to do as you're zooming the head, which is kind of nice too. So that's what the dual LEDs do. They're going to kind of blend between a tighter and a wider beam pattern. That way you're getting a better representation of what that light pattern is going to look like when you're done. So kick that off. When you flip it around to the back, you're going to, let's talk, since we're still at the front, let's talk about the battery. So it's the same rechargeable lithium-ion battery that we've been using. So you're getting up to 450 full power flashes on the A10 itself. That being said, if you have an A1 and you're thinking about either getting an A10, adding it to your arsenal, your A1 batteries that have that are a little bit lower capacity, they're up to 350 full power flashes, they will fit. So they're all cross compatible. So you have the ability to use the A10 and A1X batteries on an A1 and vice versa. They'll all work together. So recycle speed with the lithium-ion battery with this at full power is going to be 1 second. So blazingly fast, which is really, really nice. And I'll make sure that, no matter how hard you're having a fire, you're not really going to miss a shot. And on top of that, because you can fire at such a high rate of speed, we built the A1, the A1X, and now the A10 with materials that can handle that amount of heat being generated at that speed. So full power 1 second, you're not going to have to worry too much about this thing going into thermal like other flashes can do whenever you really start to bear into them and put the work to them. So definitely can stand the heavy amount of use that you can do with the specs that we provided inside of this flash. So when you turn on the actual unit itself in the back, you would power on the unit by holding this down and spinning the wheel. That's going to unlock it. So, and it should feel incredibly familiar. If you've ever messed with, like I said, an A1 or an A1X or a B10, it's going to feel very, very similar. So you still have your air group, and am I too far away from the screen? Should I come forward a little bit more?
Come forward.
Let me come forward a little bit more. So let me make sure that we're getting into focus on this bad boy. Okay, cool. So you're getting your group and channel number up here for your air system. You have your beam pattern right here. So whenever you're actually zooming the flash head, you can see that it changes the beam pattern there. So you have a kind of a graphic representation of what your light pattern is going to look like, which is kind of nice. Then up here, you'll notice that there's a Bluetooth symbol now for having Bluetooth inside the A10, and that'll let you know that's turned on or turned off. Obviously, right now it's turned on. And then you have your battery indicator up there at the top corner. So pretty cool stuff. Power is right here in the center, just like you're used to seeing with the A series so far. You can adjust everything in 1/10 of a stop, or you can go and you can speed through it pretty quick and get through the power scale as fast as you may need to. On the side of the flash, you're gonna have your TTL and manual switch. This is going to allow you to flip between TTL and manual. So one thing to know about and I'll come back up there and we'll go through some more, but one thing to know about the, sorry, I'm looking for comments and stuff like that too, so I apologize while we're doing that. So, sweet. So one thing to know about the TTL and manual switch is that when it's on top of the camera is when that switch matters. So if say you have an A10 on camera and then you have another A10 off camera, what you want to remember is that the one off camera, this switch right here is irrelevant. So it doesn't matter if it's in TTL or manual mode because it's going to take the commands from the thing touching the hot shoe. So in the Profoto world, the thing touching the hot shoe is the boss. It's in control of another A10, a B10, a B1, whatever else is out there. So if you're shooting in high-speed sync or if you're shooting in TTL, the one on top of the camera is the only one that matters being in TTL mode. So that's a good thing to know because I know a lot of people, at least I've gotten a lot of phone calls of people saying, hey, you know, I'm flipping the switch and it doesn't seem to be working properly. And it's because it's based off of what's on top of your camera. So I'm gonna make sure I'm back here and
you're good.
Cool, so we're good. So across the bottom, you still have your group control. So you can click through here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and control your different groups. So click A, you can go up and down on your power. Same thing, B, C, and D. When you're in manual mode, you have the ability to click it twice, and you can do everything globally. So you can control all 4 groups at the same time. Kind of nice. The other thing to remember in the TTL system at Profoto is groups A, B, and C are your TTL and manual groups. Groups D, E, and F are manual only. I don't know if you can see this whenever I flip between TTL mode and manual mode, but right under the letter, it'll say all manual there. And when I flip it up to TTL, these 3 will say TTL and the D will still say manual. So you have the ability to control your group D in manual mode and still have groups A, B, and C in TTL mode, which is nice. So if you are looking at doing that scenario that we were talking about just a little bit earlier, where maybe you have a flash that's off camera and you don't want the power to change in TTL while the one that's on your camera is changing in TTL, that's what you'd want to do. You'd want to set that over to group D, E, or F, and then that will make that flash manual only while this one stays TTL. The upside is you still have full high-speed sync. So if you're shooting high-speed sync and you have another camera off that you don't want to change, just set it to group D, group D, E, or F, and they will stay high-speed sync with you. Just group D is the one that you're gonna have control over. So let's see. Coming back up in here. Sorry, I'm like peeking over to make sure that I'm like within the frame. Cool. So pretty easy stuff. Down here is going to be your modeling lamp. So if you want to kick on your LED modeling lamp here, you can see it kind of lighting up my hand whenever I click it on and off. You also get a little sun symbol right here that lets you know that it's engaged. Another thing that you can do really quickly with the modeling light is you can actually hold down the button for a couple of seconds and it'll actually toggle the head on and off. So if you want to use the A10 as just a trigger and you don't want to use it as an on-camera flash as well, if you hold down that button hold down that button for a second, you'll see that head off turns on, and so I could hit test all day long. It's not going to fire the head here, but if I don't have any B10s or anything on right now, but if any of that stuff was on and set to the same channel, it would fire them off. So
it says closer.
Closer, okay.
Is it possible?
Yeah, let's see if I can get closer. It's not a macro lens, so I can't promise it'll focus. So let's.
It looks good in focus.
Okay, cool. So we'll go right here. So I should have put my zoom lens on. I didn't think about that a while ago. So, but this should be fine. So once again, if you hold down that button right there, you can see that we can toggle the head on and off. Cool. Then if you want to lock in any settings, so there's some people who may be running with a camera with two A10, with like an A10 or an A1 on each one of them. And say you have kind of your settings locked into place and you put one of your cameras down to your side, you don't want it to kind of bump and mess up. What you can do is you can hold down the center button and you'll kick the lock into place. So now, you press any button, it's asking you to spin this wheel to unlock it. So you don't have to worry about it messing up any of your settings. So you can simply just click any button, spin the wheel, and you're unlocked again. So obviously the little icon's gone. Want to get into the settings? Really, really simple. Punch into the center button, and then here's all your settings. You'll just navigate down to all the words and stuff like that, the things that you want. So a lot of other companies use symbols, and you have to kind of look through the manual to figure out what the heck's going on. The nice thing here is we use English that you can read, and you have it's convenient. So, but once again, you have all your groups that you can choose from. In here, this will also tell you no TTL, no TTL, no TTL on groups D, E, and F. So you have that information here inside the flash as well. So when you're choosing your group, you know what you're doing. Your channels 1 through 20, just like you're used to now with the new Profoto setup. We have air on and off, and then transmit only. So I know when we originally released the A1X, we didn't have transmit only. So the nice thing about transmit only is it's gonna allow you to have multiple flashes on top of a camera, or say you're shooting a reception and you have a second shooter who's also using your, maybe you have like a light setup in the reception hall, right? So the nice thing is you can both set to transmit only, and it's going to stop the A10 or the A1 or A1X from receiving that air signal, so you don't have to worry about accidentally triggering each other's flashes. So that's a nice little feature setup. Then Bluetooth on and off right here, so that's how you toggle it on and off. And then you have a little disconnect button right here if you just want to disconnect it from the app. Your head on and off, which you can also, once again, toggle by holding down the flash head button right there, or the modeling lamp button right there. Then you have your different sync modes, first, second. This is a Fuji version, so this one has high-speed sync built into it. The Canon, Nikon, and Sony's aren't going to have the HSS option, and the Canon and Nikons will have another feature called X-Sync, which will allow you to use those flashes on any camera's hot shoe. It's just not in TTL mode. Then you have your different zoom settings. So once again, you can spin the wheel at the front to change your zoom. You can set it to auto, so it would follow along with your different lenses, and then you have some predetermined patterns right here. The cool thing is no matter what you set it to, auto or these predetermined patterns, if you spin the ring on the front, it will manually override. I wonder if it'll do it in the menu settings if I do it here. So if I hit auto, let's go to zoom, let's see if it happens when I spin it. Okay, it doesn't change it in there, but if I go back out here, you can see it says A right there with the beam pattern. As soon as I spin this, it'll override it. Boom. So the A is gone. So there you go with your zoom. Continuous light is just going to give you power options for your continuous, the modeling lamp on the unit. You can use minimum, maximum, proportional, which just means that its light output is proportional to the flash power output. So if you're trying to kind of ratio multiple lights together, you can use proportional for that. And then flicker free, if you ever want to roll a little bit of video, it'll power up the LED so you don't have to worry about any flicker being introduced. Pretty simple stuff.
So Chris, people are asking, what are the major differences between the A10, A1X,
Yeah,
A1?
easy stuff.
What makes it different?
So between your A1 and your A10, so let's go A1 and A10 before we go to A1X. So A1 and A10, you're going to have the bigger battery, so the 450 full power shots versus the 350 that you would have had with the A1. And this is slightly faster. So, I mean, the A1 was still pretty ridiculously fast. It was 1.2 seconds recycle at full power, which is pretty silly. And then with the A10, we took that to 1 second recycle. We did that with the A1X also. So a lot of the specs that you're going to hear between the A10 and the A1X are pretty much the exact same. So right now I'm just if you hear me comparing A1 and A10, know that I'm talking about the original A1 and that the A10 specs and the A1X specs are incredibly similar. The only difference between an A1X and an A10 is going to be Bluetooth. So this has, once again, the Bluetooth radio built inside of it. So you're going to be able to do a couple of different things. Once again, firmware updates are going to be via you can do firmware updates via the USB port here on the side, but also firmware updates via the app. So much easier. I updated my firmware this morning. It took like 3 minutes. Just click the button and it loads it up. So firmware updates via the app. You're going to be able to control every aspect of the flash from inside. So say you have an A10 set up as a hair light, like way up here, right? And there may be something that you just want to change. Maybe you want to run a different group. Maybe you want to change the power of the unit. Maybe whatever you may want to do, you're going to have the ability. You could fire up the app and you could change all aspects of the A10 right from inside the app. And then the added bonus on top of that is you have the AirX feature, which is going to let you trigger the full power Xenon flash with the Profoto app. So you'll be able to, once again, take any type of photo that you want. If you want to supplement in some flash, you can actually use the full power of the A10's flash head to supplement in with your, right now iPhone. I know we're working on a whole bunch of other stuff. I think the Huawei Mate might work with it as well, natively, which is kind of cool. I could be misspeaking on the Huawei, but I don't think I am. And then, but between this and the B10 now, you can use the full power of the flash for this. And I know some people might be like, why would you want to use your camera flash like this with your phone? Well, first and foremost, think about how much mobile phone sensors have developed since the iPhone 1, right? So from here to there, they've gotten exponentially better, and you can just see that they're going to continue to get exponentially better. And then like Samsung's making crazy stuff, and all these other companies are making crazy stuff. So the better that these sensors get, you're going to have a product that's kind of future-proofed around a lot of stuff. So no matter what you choose to use, or no matter how much you continue, your stuff continues evolving, this thing can stay with you no matter what. It's why we call it a flash for life. The nice thing about this, and it's the one thing that I tell people all the time with Profoto. So a Profoto product isn't necessarily meant to be upgraded every single year. So are we going to come out with new versions? Are we going to make advancements in things? Yes. Do you need them? I don't know. That's something that you're going to have to ask yourself. But the nice thing about having something like the A10 that once again has the Bluetooth built into it, so you have all the ability to update everything mobily without having to plug any of that stuff in. You have the ability to fire via Bluetooth and fire via air remote. So you have lots of cool options. As technology continues to progress, we're going to be able to take things like the A10 and the B10 and continue to provide firmware updates to make these things better and better and better. So you're not always thinking about changing out your flash. You have something that's going to last you an incredibly long time. And then, say something else eventually comes out and it's mission critical to the way that you work. Yeah, then you upgrade. But this thing should last you an incredible amount of time, especially now with the Bluetooth built inside of it. And who knows what is on the horizon for mirrorless cameras and DSLRs and stuff like that. I have zero doubt in my mind that a camera's coming with the operating system running as Android. I mean, Samsung's already made one. They made one a bunch of years ago. But I have no doubt in my mind that a big player isn't going to have some sort of quick sharing ability built into their cameras, and to make sure that you're future-proofed against all that stuff is pretty dynamite. So once again, spec-wise, when I'm talking A1X and the A10, incredibly similar. 450 full power flashes, 1 second full power recycle speeds, interchangeable lithium-ion battery, all that good stuff, and same camera compatibility. So you're talking about Canon, Nikon, Sony, and Fuji. All have an A10 and an A1X. So whereas your A1s are going to be Canon, Nikon only, and it's a little bit slower, not by much. I mean, 1 second versus 1.2 seconds, and then a little bit less, about 100 less shots on the battery is kind of the big thing. So let me see if you guys have any questions here. Let's see if anything's popping up. I don't see anything on this little contraption here. Let's see if I click new. Is there anything that pops up? Let's try Facebook and see if anything pops up there. Cool. But I mean, that's it for the most part. Other than that, you're going to find a lot of similarities between the A1X and the A10. The upside is if you feel like the Bluetooth isn't something that you need, the A1X has is cheaper now. So if you were thinking about getting into an A1X in the first place, and you're like, I really don't need Bluetooth, that's totally fine. If that's, you should buy the product based on what your need is. And an A1X is going to be great. And I think we're like $895 now. So you're getting a really great flash at a really killer price. And then if you decide, maybe I do need the Bluetooth, then, just buy the one with the Bluetooth inside of it. It's totally your call. So, but they're both great flashes. They're going to last you a really long time. If you think that there's a chance that you may eventually want to use the Bluetooth, or that you like the ability to upgrade, your firmware mobily versus having to hook to a computer and download a whole bunch of stuff, then hey, the A10 is where it's at. Because once again, with the B10, it's incredibly easy to use. So that's really all I've got. It's a pretty straightforward product. Once again, camera compatibility, Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fuji, which is kind of nice. So you have all that good stuff, and then can't really beat the speed of this thing. So knowing that you have 450 full power flashes, knowing that you have a 1 second recycle speed, incredible stuff. And then obviously our patented round head, which is going to be really, really clean. It's going to have a kind of a nice round, smooth, natural fall off. So blending it with your surroundings is incredibly easy. So, but I think that's it. I don't see any, do you see any other questions anywhere? Because I'm not seeing anything popping up.
Not really.
You don't have anything? Okay, cool. Because my little, I'm trying to load up the live thing right here, and I'm not seeing, okay, here we go. Oh, wait a minute, there's some comments here. Cliff says, I'm so cute. Kevin, is there an upgrade program? I don't think so. You could always just sell your flash and upgrade to the next one. You should still be able to do pretty good on the used market with it. Sorry, I'm trying to load up these comments. They're actually populating for me now.
Oh.
So let's see. With everything it can do, would this be the only flash I need? Irfan, I can't say that it would be the only flash that you would ever need. That's kind of, I don't really know what kind of photography that you do. Can it do a lot? Yeah, 100%. It can do a lot of really, really good stuff. So it just depends on what it is that you're trying to do. I mean, the nice thing is you could pair this with an umbrella adapter and shoot into an umbrella and get really nice soft light that way if you're trying to get a big huge modifier. We make an RFI speedlight speed ring, so if you want to use like one like our 4-foot Octabox or some other large modifier, you could put up to 2 of these things inside that, and so you'd have 2 lights instead of a big modifier, a lot of power, which would be nice. So you can do a lot of stuff with it. I just don't necessarily know what you're trying to, what your style of photography is and what you shoot. So maybe if you gave me some more specifics, I might be able to tell you. But will it last you a long time? 1,000%. It'll last you a really long time. So I'm trying to see. I'm trying to get these things to load up. Maybe I go here. So have you seen any other things popping up, Caitlin?
Will future Profoto lights like the B1X be upgrading to Bluetooth?
I can never speak to, so someone asked, can we expect other Profoto lights to be upgrading to Bluetooth? I can never tell you, oh, that's me talking. So I can never say what we have coming that we haven't announced just because I can't do that. I think, by looking at our track record so far that Bluetooth is a big thing in our ecosystem now. So, probably when's what coming? I have no idea. I just know that it's, from everything that I've seen, it's a really, really big part of what we do now. So I don't have any doubt in my mind that eventually our line would be completely Bluetooth. I just have no idea when that's going to be. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I have any more questions. Sorry. Let's see. I'm sitting here on a live thing trying to scroll my phone. Here we go. So Profoto. Boom. Let's check this live. So I don't see anything else. Oh, here we go. Are they populating? Let's see. So the difference between the A1X and the A10 is only Bluetooth. So why should I upgrade from an A1X to an A10? You shouldn't. If you don't need the Bluetooth feature, you shouldn't upgrade. You should keep your A1X. It's going to last a really long time. And just like we did with the A1, we're going to continue providing firmware updates. So when the A10 launched, the A1 used a different menu style. It had less channels. It only had 8. It had our original 8 air channels. When we launched the A1X, we came out with the matching menu system to the B10 series. That way, kind of cross light, it felt similar. But we also pushed out those channels to the A1. So, and we did the same thing with the B1 to the B1X. So when the B1X came out, that's when we introduced full range high-speed sync to our flash ecosystem. We did the same. We took that same firmware and we put it onto the B1. So if the Bluetooth isn't something that appeals to you and you don't think you'll ever use it, I would say don't buy it. Don't get an A10. Keep your A1X. It's going to be a flash that's going to last you quite a long time. We're going to, once again, we will be making sure that as things change, we can keep it updated and rocking and rolling with stuff. So if you don't, well, once again, I would stick with your A1. Let's see. Hey Chris, why can I not adjust the mode TTL separate in on-camera flash to OCF? I'm not. Hey Julio, I'm sorry, man. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking me. If you could ask it again, that'd be awesome. I'm a dummy. So, let's see. Sorry, let's reading through these things. Cool. I don't really see any other questions. Let's see. Sweet. So once again, really, really simple stuff, really straightforward flash system. If you're familiar with the A1X, the A10 is going to be incredibly comfortable to you. And then on top of that, you have the addition of Bluetooth and our AirX technology, which is kind of which I think is kind of dynamite. I've been playing with it for a few weeks with between my Fuji and between my phone, and it's a lot of fun. It's nice to have something small but powerful kind of with you whenever you want to take it out of your bag, use it with your camera with. I use mine. I have the little Connect kit, so I just throw the Connect on there and throw it on there. But if I don't even want to bring all that stuff out and dial that stuff in, the ability to be able to just pull my phone out and it pairs like that, and I can take a photo, it's kind of dynamite. So let's see. I don't see any other questions, and I don't think I've missed anything, at least from all the stuff that's populating here. Once again, straightforward stuff. So if you have any questions, I know we popped the links up over here to kind of see if you wanted to kind of dive in and look at some more stuff. So there should be some A10 link right here next to me. So if you want more information on the product, you can go and click that, check it out, see if it's something that you're interested in. In the meantime, if you have any other questions about anything, you can shoot me a message. You can shoot Profoto a message. We'd love to talk to you about whatever. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. And we'll see you next Thursday. It's weird that we're doing this on a Wednesday, but we're doing it on a launch date just in case anybody has questions.
Maybe we'll see you at Clic tomorrow.
Yeah. So we have if any of you pay attention to like the Clic conference, I'll be talking tomorrow with the Clic conference. I think I'm at 2:30. So you might want to check Clic away. So you might want to check that out. We're just going to be talking about lighting in general and intro to lighting kind of stuff. So if that's something that interests you, maybe you want to check out Clic conference. That's tomorrow at 2:30, I think is what it said on my calendar. And then after that, we'll be back at our regular live time on Thursday. I think we might actually start doing a special thing where we might start cranking out a couple of lives a week. That may start next week. So we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of have to see how things fall into place. So hopefully in the meantime, you guys have an awesome rest of your week. Great weekend. If I see you at Clic, sweet. Thank you so much and have an awesome day, guys. Peace out.